Hey guys, welcome back to Clover Mobile. In today's video, we're going to be talking LR gear farming. I'll have a bunch of timestamps if you want to jump around. The things we're going to go through is my stage 15, which is the max stage you can farm. My team for that, I'll go through my stats of where I'm like entry level farming it. We'll also go through free-to-play substitutes for some of the characters and stuff like that. And then I'll show you guys quickly to start my drop rates, which have been abysmal. And then I also want to talk about the system you can use where even if you can't farm this yet, you might be able to get into the point where you can just manual a couple wins. It may take some time, but you can abuse that to get an LR piece every day, which is actually quite decent in my opinion. So that's what we're looking at in this one. The first thing, I'll just jump over here and show you guys my drop rates first of all. So these have been my drop rates. So this was from a 2x3 run, that was 6 runs. This was from a 4x3 run, which is another 12. And this was from an 8x3 run, which was another, 24. So 24, 36, 40, 42 runs through the dungeon. And I've had 3 UR pieces. I have done more runs than that before this, but not too many. They were more manual runs and stuff to start getting some SSR gear and stuff like that. So the drop rates in this stuff, they are very low. But like I said, I will go through a system towards the end here to help you guys get more once you get closer to that stage of being able to farm it. So let's go through the team first of all. So this is my team. It actually forms like that. This is the team that I use. Now, if you want to look at my auto, how I run on the auto, Charmy only uses her skill and then basic attack because they both heal. I don't want it to do anything else because healing is the most important thing in this dungeon. Lotus, I do ult, then skill. Mars, I do team up, then skill. And then Yami, I use ult, skill, then ult. And that is the process. It wouldn't matter with Yami if you did ult, then skill. It doesn't really matter. But that is my auto. You just don't really want to pair Mars with Lotus because Mars's team up without Lotus is just better. So that's what we look at there. Now, the other thing I could do to play it maybe a little bit safer would be... Nah, that's probably the same. There's no... I think that's probably the best formation I could come up with. But let's go through... replacements, and then I'll show you guys the stats of these guys for entry level getting into it. So for Mars, his main replacement is going to be Sol. Sol is just another blue tank. It's pretty much all there is to it. You want your full team to be blue. I've had a lot of people ask me why I don't use my like mimosa or something. The problem is with enemy targeting in these dungeons, they prioritize the enemy element. So if you have a full team of blues and then you have like one red against red enemies, the red enemy is weak against your blues but neutral against the red, so they're going to attack the red unit more often. So if your healer is weak to the enemies, because this dungeon that I farm is red enemies, they just going to insta clap my mimosa and you're screwed. Now, after that, if you have a full team of the same element where they're all advantageous, neutral, or weak, doesn't really matter, then their next targeting priority becomes defenders. There's some sort of innate like taunt value that defenders have that makes them get attacked more. Not 100% chance, but reliable enough that you should be able to start farming, and there will be certain runs where they just double target like your healer and then you're dead. It is what it is, but they normally target your tank more. So that's what we're looking at. So Sol is going to be the tank replacement. The replacement for Yami is going to be, if we go over to the glossary, because I don't actually have these two, there's 2 possible replacements you can use. The first one is Solid Silver, and the second one is Gauche. Over on my Canadian account, I used Gauche. Solid's probably seen as the better option, but both are honestly fine. And to be honest, the damage dealing spot is your like least important spot. Now, as for Lotus, I always say Lotus is the main one that I would reroll for because he's hard to replace in this team. The one you may be able to replace, like not replace him with, you need a lot better stats and stuff. Like I've thought about maybe Heath in replacement, but basically I recommend everyone to at least get a Lotus account from your multi-pool. If you don't have him, like I said, you're in a bit more of a tricky situation. Maybe you can try him. Maybe you you could try something like Nozel if you've pulled him, but it has to be a blue unit. The great thing about Lotus is that he helps amplify your damage and also slows the enemies and delays the enemies, and that is the big thing in this. Because like I said, when you're looking at farming gear, the least important thing is your damage. The most important thing is having a tank that can live and a healer that can keep them alive. So let's go through my stats on these characters, and then we'll jump into my gear as well. And I also want to talk about skill upgrades, because I did a few skill upgrades. So the first character I'm going to go through is Charmy. Unfortunately for Charmy, there isn't really a replacement to be able to farm this stuff early on. Outside of Charmy, you're kind of screwed, because every other healer is going to get insta-targeted and dead. So Charmy is that one irreplaceable unit. Luckily, she is the SR unit in there, but yeah, I can't really find a good replacement for her. Now, the first one I want to look at is her skill page. I do have her individual skill page, which her skill page is going to give the extra increased magic attack for the ally when she uses her heal. But her stats that this gives is max HP, and I'm using this one because I just wanted the HP recovery, essentially. So that's why I went with this one. I went with the HP instead of the extra magic attack, because I don't really care about that. The one I'm healing the most is going to be Mars, so it doesn't really matter. So that was the skill page. For actual skills, I did do a few upgrades into skills. I did 2 upgrades into her basic attack to get the healing increased on it, and then I did 1 skill up into this one to get the extra healing on it. The healing is the big thing on your Charmy. You want her skill healing for like as close to like 25k as you can in these early stages, and her basic attack around 10k. So that's what I did to get that extra oomph out of her. Now then, her magic attack here you can see is at 7,700. So the rest comes down to gearing. As you can see, I did a +4 a few pieces of SSR gear. Now she was in a few SR pieces when I started farming, but I have upgraded her a little bit. But essentially what you really want to look for is magic attack. As you can see, this one's got magic attack, this is magic attack, and this is magic attack. So is that. And that's just an attack because I got the set bonus. I don't have a magic attack piece yet, and that is magic attack. So I went all in on magic attack. You can see I got the 2-piece of the attacking set and the 2-piece of the speed set. These sets are broken. I could have one more set built in there. I've probably got the gear for it now, but I didn't at the time. As you can see here, I could put this one on her and get the upgrade as well. So I've got a few upgrades to go. But essentially, you want to stack magic attack on Charmy because her heal is based on magic attack. This used to be worded wrong, and it used to say the ally's magic attack, but it heals based on her magic attack. So that's what you really want to stack with your Charmy. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is going to be the next most important piece, in my opinion, which is your tank. You can see my Mars here. Defense is going to be your most important stat. Now, skills on Mars, I did do a couple skill upgrades on Mars. I did 3 into this one, just because I'm using him for PvP and stuff. I want to get his stun activations higher, and the other one that I did was this one here, which is this. So I'm getting this stun activation rate up on his team up attack as well. I just want to get his stun activations as high as possible because that is going to help me. Now his skill page, I do have an SSR skill page, which grants 40% defense and increased HP recovery. So that's an extra one that I put on him, which I pulled that. I'm going to use it. It's too good. But just aim for extra defense on the skill page, and that is the main thing that you're looking at. As for his gear, you can pretty much guess it. He wants to get defense. But there's one exception. So I did get an LR piece, which I'll talk about the way I got that. So I did get an LR piece, so that really helps that it was defense to help him. And you can see this one's going to be defense. This one's defense. This one's attack. I'll talk about that in a sec. Then we got HP, attack, and then this one's defense. The reason I did this is I probably have a better set to put on him, focusing on more defense. And what you can end up doing with the defender is going 6 big defense pieces, but you don't get the set bonuses. So at this stage, because this defense set gives me 250 and then 20% defense, that's why I have non-defense pieces on here to give him as much defense as possible. And that is pretty much what you really want to stack. You want to get defense. Now, if I could get this set, I would. I just don't have it at the time. So if I could have a 4-piece of this set, 100% I would. And I'll put that on. Maybe I have it now after a bit of farming. But that's what you really want to stack on your tank is defense. Moving on from that, my Yami... he's attacker. I'm just trying to stack attack essentially. He's just got the basic skill page that we get. His gear is basically just looking for raw attack. This one's defense to get me the 4-piece bonus. Then you can see attack. That's HP to get me the 4-piece bonus. And then we got attack. Literally just looking for attack. I've probably got a better build once again for him, but that is my entry level build for Yami. And then the final one that I want to look to is Lotus. And Lotus is just magic attack, but Lotus doesn't take priority. The thing with Lotus is he really doesn't matter. He really doesn't matter. He's handy to have extra damage, but as you can see, mine's is pretty poorly geared to compared to the rest. And all I was looking for in him was as much magic attack as possible, and that is pretty much it. So that is it. Like I said, Lotus, least important unit. He's like one of the most important to have in the team, but his gear doesn't matter as much. The most important gearing is, in my opinion, the healer and the tank, so that you can survive. Then your damage dealer to speed it up, because the faster you kill things, the less chances there are for you to get shafted by RNG. So that is the team and the stats. So next up, I want to talk about the new system that they've added into the game with Global, and the way you can get your extra LR pieces. So this thing's kind of funny worded, but essentially you start the day with 5 of 5. Once you get down to 1 of 5, it's giving you a 100% chance to get the rarest gear that you can get in the stage that you're looking to do. And if you do get an LR before then, it just uses up all your attempts. So essentially what this is doing is it's saying when you're up to farming LR gear, you're guaranteed 1 LR gear in 5 runs every day, which is pretty solid in my opinion, because you've seen how shit the drop rates are. So that's not bad. But what you can do is, and this is what I did to get my first piece of LR gear, is I got to this stage and I couldn't auto it yet. But I sat there and I took 4 attempts to manual it, and I cleared it. So this did take me some time, so keep in mind, depending on where you're at, it might be harder, it might be easier. It took me 4 attempts just to clear this. Then I jumped in here again, and I did a 3x run. And it took me like another 3 or 4 times to clear it on that 3x run, because that 3x run used 3 of the tickets, and by the 3rd run, I was at the 80% probability. I was at 60% probability, because your first clearing of a stage doesn't count. But because I was at 60%, I actually landed my LR gear off of that one manual run. And that really helped my Mars' survival, which helped me progress through the rest. So this thing, if you're up to like here and you're borderline trying to do this, if you have the time each day when you get these tickets, try and manual through this, because you will get an LR piece of gear in 5 runs, which is actually effectively within 2 runs if you times 3 it. So that is the biggest tip I can give to people that are trying to get into LR gear farming, is that. And the other tip that I would give to people getting into LR gear farming, if you're struggling on this stage, I actually find 15 to be easier than 13. So just keep in mind, if you're really struggling there, just keep progressing through these ones, because you might find that this one's actually a little bit easier than some of the other ones. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave a run. I'll probably speed it up, because otherwise it takes too long, because these runs are slow on auto, and I normally just leave it on overnight and stack up the stamina. But I'm just going to leave a run here, fast speed. So if you want to, if you're curious about how it works, you can see how the run actually moves. But like I said, my Charmy healing about 24-ish K, I think, with her skill, and about 10K with her basic, is where do you want to get her to. Her bonus basic heal is based on damage dealt, so that will fluctuate, but that's like the most important thing. And then survival on your tank. But there you go. You guys can slow it down as you want to get a better look at it. But yeah, as always guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.